The Victorian government's controversial pandemic laws look set to pass Parliament after it agreed to amend the bill to secure crucial crossbench support in the upper house. The opposition isn't backing down, nor are protesters angry at the bill.
As protesters camped out on state parliament steps for a second night, the government was thrashing out an 11th-hour deal with key upper house crossbenchers whose support is needed to get its proposed pandemic laws through.
Just the normal parliamentary process, there are some changes made.
Agreeing to make 7 amendments to its bill, including halving maximum fines for not complying with pandemic orders, releasing the health advice behind decisions within 7 days, not 14, and inserting the Premier must be satisfied there are reasonable grounds before making a pandemic declaration.
As a result, we have legislation that is accountable, that is transparent.
A piece of legislation that is fit for purpose.
We were happy to make those because we know they strike the right balance between keeping Victorians safe and making sure that the rights of Victorians to go about their business in a normal manner are enshrined.
The opposition argues the laws still put too much power in the hands of government with too little oversight.
They don't change when it comes to oversight, which has been people's key points of differentiation.
It's a view echoed by the Victorian Ombudsman.
I'd like to see more independent and proper independent oversight. I think there should be oversight by a court.
The government's amendments will also enable Parliament's Scrutiny of Acts and Regulations Committee to consider any pandemic order.
Premier, how can a committee with a Labor chair and Labor majority possibly be independent oversight of the government's pandemic response?
These arrangements are in line with New South Wales, New Zealand, and they have more scrutiny, more oversight than the current arrangements.
The opposition has lashed the process, calling it rushed.
For them to come up with an amendment or amendments that make this legislation acceptable the night before it goes to the upper house, after it's been through the lower house, you've got to smell a rat, don't you?
And will almost certainly fail in its attempts to get up amendments of its own.
I can't see any of them actually improving the legislation. In fact, many of them will make the legislation completely unworkable.
The state opposition's attempts to stall debate in the upper house were unsuccessful, the government declaring the bill urgent. The new pandemic laws poised to pass Parliament in time to replace the existing state of emergency powers which expire December 15. After 2 years under pandemic rules, these laws will decide how a future one is managed. The strains showing, public debate resulting at times in ugly demonstrations.
Loved the energy was grouse, people from all walks of life standing together in unity.
And even death threats, the gravity not lost.
Why won't the government now withdraw this extreme legislation and start again?
And the short answer is because we won't be changing our position from one position to another in the space of weeks.
Andrea Crothers, Sky News, Melbourne.